Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. So, if you're laser focused on optimizing your career right now, well, you've definitely landed in the right place. Look, the stakes in the modern workplace, they're higher than they have literally ever been. In our current era of remote, hybrid, and hyper-globalized work, true collaboration is constantly fracturing. You might be wondering, why should a high-stakes investment banker or a lead academic researcher even care about the basic concept of teamwork right now? Well, it's because individual brilliance just isn't enough anymore to scale complex operations. Today, we're dissecting the absolute mechanics of teamwork using some of the most recent career development literature. Whether you're a professional in a corporate office navigating a crazy merger, a banker working on high-stakes deals, or an academic managing intensive research groups, this explainer is designed to help you leverage collaborative dynamics for some serious organizational success. We're moving way past the standard corporate buzzwords to look at the exact frameworks that create incredibly high-performing units.
Okay, let's dive right into this with a brilliant quote from basketball legend Michael Jordan. Talent outplays games, but teamwork and astuteness earn championships. This just perfectly frames our entire discussion today. We're not treating teamwork as just, a pleasant, soft skill to casually toss at the bottom of your resume. No way. We're looking at it as an absolute high-performance necessity. Astuteness in a business context? It means knowing exactly how to deploy collective intelligence. It's the core requirement for earning professional championships in your respective fields, whether that means dominating in a corporate boardroom or leading a massive breakthrough in a scientific lab.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with an intro to professional teamwork. Get into the actual definition, cover the 4 core elements, see exactly why employers value this collaboration so highly, and then learn how to improve your skills. Finally, we'll wrap up with a key takeaway for your career success.
Simple as that. Let's get to it.
Section 2, the actual definition. We hear teamwork tossed around constantly, but let's see what it actually means beneath all that corporate jargon.
So the textbook definition is this. Teamwork is when 2 or more people come together to complete a task or goal by contributing their unique efficacies and strengths. The source text makes an absolutely crucial point here. It's not just about being in the same room or, being CC'd on the same massive email chain. The real key is that all members have to be ready to esteem each other's aid and literally coordinate their distinct efforts toward reaching an overall goal. Think about a managing director at a bank and a strict legal compliance officer. They have vastly different roles, totally different priorities, and honestly, often completely different personalities. But to close a multi-billion-dollar merger, they must coordinate their distinct efforts perfectly. Success only happens when those positive views and specialized approaches actually align.
Now, what's really fascinating about this next concept is the academic distinction between group work and teamwork. They sound basically identical, right? But they function entirely differently. While group work is generally collaborative, open to discussion, and great for rapid decision-making, kind of like a standard monthly departmental sync, teamwork specifically thrives under totally different conditions. We're talking tight deadlines and incredibly complex tasks. Think of a rapid response task force that's deployed over a weekend to handle an urgent PR crisis or a sudden market crash. That requires members to share critical responsibilities, make significant concessions, and ultimately it creates a unique synergy and ingenuity that a standard group discussion simply cannot ever reach.
Moving right along to Section 3, 4 elements of effective teamwork. Let's break down the actual anatomy of these synergistic environments.
The first key element is communication. To collaborate efficiently, everyone on the team has got to clearly discern each other's goals and responsibilities. Sharing information beneficially is absolutely vital. And, importantly, in any massive organization, professionals must adapt to diverse communication styles. For instance, an academic researcher might prefer to communicate via incredibly dense, data-heavy reports. But a corporate executive, they usually demand a bulleted, high-level summary. A truly effective team knows exactly how to bridge that communication gap seamlessly, so the workflow never, ever stalls out.
The second element is time management. According to the source material, crafting an optimal, goal-oriented time frame to dispense information capably is the literal foundation of feasible teamwork. Without it, a team simply cannot function. Let's ground this in reality, okay? In investment banking, a missed deadline on a regulatory filing doesn't just cause a minor annoyance, it can literally cost millions of dollars in fines. In academia, missing a submission window might mean losing a major research grant for the entire year. Good time management leads to apt decision-making and fundamentally helps in resolving conflicts peacefully, simply because the pressure is actually controlled.
Moving to our third element, collaboration. This is the essential trait that fortifies trust and rapport within a dynamic. When 2 or more highly skilled professionals work together collaboratively, they're merging individual fortes to craft real synergy. This allows them to apply focused, powerful effort towards solving highly complex problems, boosting the adeptness of the entire unit.
It's like a giant puzzle, finally coming together. This is the exact space where 1 plus 1 suddenly equals 3.
And all of this relies heavily on our fourth element, diversity. To be genuinely prosperous, teams desperately need a mix of skill levels, cultures, and real-world experiences. Highly specialized professionals often run the risk of falling into echo chambers, right? Just repeating the same industry biases over and over again. But by ensuring diversity, you completely shatter that groupthink. You craft a comfortable environment where inspiration is allowed to thrive, and everyone feels safe sharing their unique judgments. This wide variety of outlooks is exactly what leads to vastly superior decisions and a much grander yield overall.
All right, Section 4, Why Employers Value Collaboration. Let's look at the real return on investment for the organization.
So, we know the anatomy of a highly functioning team. But why do major organizations, global banks, and massive academic institutions prize these dynamics so heavily? Well, the source outlines 4 massive organizational benefits. First up is effectual work. When tasks are incredibly complex, collaboration makes the work actually scalable. Second is faster innovation. Multiple individuals sharing ideas craft innovative solutions way faster than anyone working alone, and in today's economy, speed is literally everything. Third is healthy competition, which provides respectful motivation among peers. And fourth, positive rapport. Strong teams create highly fulfilling collaborative alliances that keep employee drive high and drastically reduce turnover, which, let's be real, is a massive cost saver for any firm.
Perhaps the ultimate example of this employer value is the cross-functional team. This involves uniting members from totally different departments to amplify organizational yield. Imagine your company is launching a massive new financial product. You need IT to build the infrastructure, legal to clear the compliance hurdles, marketing to position the messaging, and sales to actually push the product. That's a cross-functional team in action. To make this work, it demands unvarying, structured meetings and absolute clarity on dispensed tasks. A cross-functional team needs a strict framework outlining who the decision-makers are, who the action takers are, and who oversees the whole shebang.
Next up, Section 5, Improving Your Teamwork Skills. Let's talk about some real actionable steps.
This brings us to a really critical transition in our explainer. Understanding the theory is fantastic, but how do you actually implement these concepts in your high-pressure career today? Let's look at a clear chronological procedure. Step 1, build trust. Just be honest and authentic. Step 2, grab candid purpose. You do this by outlining roles early so everyone deeply understands why their specific job is essential. Step 3, uphold ownership. You have to discern who owns what. A lot of top firms use a RACI matrix to dictate exactly who is responsible and accountable for every single deliverable. And finally, Step 4, motivate members. Deliberately reward good work to craft positive gestures and ensure everyone has the exact assets they need to perform at their absolute peak.
To put those steps into practice, the source suggests some specific structured engagements. Now, things like cracking a puzzle or crafting a scavenger hunt might sound a bit, elementary at first glance, but you have to translate them into a high-level corporate context. Cracking a puzzle actually translates to high-pressure war room scenarios where your team learns to solve hitches and overcome sudden roadblocks together. Brainstorming sessions are basically structured design sprints to come up with artistic ideas under a tight time constraint. Scavenger hunts are really about cross-training and learning new efficacies within your current roster, and putting on a managed competition can massively boost adeptness and team synergy. These are deliberate exercises to nurture the habit of averting conflicts before a real crisis actually hits.
However, we also have to look honestly at the pitfalls because teamwork fails all the time. Communication breakdowns happen. Unclear expectations lead to complete organizational anarchy. But pay very special attention to this third concept, resentment over allocated roles. This is the classic free rider problem. If a team member feels their workload hasn't been fairly distributed or that someone else is getting credit for their heavy lifting, massive discontent sets in. This leads directly to poor team dynamics, toxic passive aggression, and eventually the whole unit can collapse terribly, taking the entire project down with it. Truly not good.
And finally, Section 6, Final Takeaway for Career Success. Let's bring it all home.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to make sure you leave with a lasting philosophical framework. The crucial point is captured beautifully in this quote by John Wooden. A team is not a group of people who are working together. It is a group of people who have been united by something more powerful than themselves.
Successful teams aren't just a bunch of intelligent people sharing a desk or a Zoom screen. They're driven by powerful forces and a genuine, deeply felt connection to an organization's overall mission. Whether that mission is discovering a cure for a disease in a lab or successfully launching a massive IPO on Wall Street, a shared vision is what finally unlocks true high performance.
I want to leave you with this final provocative question drawn directly from the source material's struct warning about team dynamics. Are you contented with being vulnerable enough to truly trust your team today? We've journeyed from the foundational definitions of collaboration all the way to the daily habits that build trust. But true collaboration fundamentally requires opening up, making necessary concessions, and having blind faith in the unique capabilities of your peers. Take a moment to sit with that. Evaluate your own team dynamics, your willingness to be vulnerable, and your specific role before you step into your very next meeting. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and here's to building a true championship-level team in your career.